What is up, people? So, in the next couple of seconds, I'm gonna show you the exact SOPs, the advanced SOPs, which I use on my teams and my clients' teams to make over multiple seven figures actually for clients' revenue in the last 9 months. And just so you understand what I do, I run a sales agency, collected over 8 million, a total cash collected for my clients, and my biggest client does 9 figures, and my smallest client does 7 figures per year in revenue. So, this is literally everything that you need when it comes to the appointment setting of your offer, or if your client's offer, just watch it till the end or send it to someone who might need it. If you have a setter, share that with them. If you're a business owner, watch this till the end, or maybe share this with your setter. Or if you're still a setter, watch this till the end, because this is going to be immense value. So let's get straight into it. So let's get on to more of the setting part now, right? Let's get on to more of the setting part. So today I want to give you like the basic stuff when it comes to setting, right? Let's perfect the basic stuff, and then after that, let's go on to the advanced stuff of setting, right? Because I'm pretty sure you don't really understand even the basics at this point, right?
Yeah.
So just like everyone, let's start with the mindset, right?
Yeah.
Mindset of like a really good salesperson, right? Be it a setter, DM setter, be it a dialer, it doesn't really matter, right? Everything is the same. So number one, right? This is something which I see a lot of people miss on this specific aspect, right? A lot of setters just comes into DM setting, appointment setting, and stuff like that, and they think everything is sunshine and rainbows, right? A lot of people think that, but it's not. You have been working as sales rep, so you do understand it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is kind of the same. It is kind of the same, but you get paid more. That is the only difference, right? This stuff, as in setting, you might need to cut off a lot of things. You would need to make sacrifices. If you're actually getting into sales and you want to make a lot of money, you want to make like 10K a month, you want to make 15K a month, you want to make like 20K a month. With sales, you need to sacrifice a lot of shit, right? So I want to make sure that you understand that. Like, I hope you have seen a lot of gurus trying to flash lights, watches,
absolutely,
Lambos and shit like that. It's not like that. If you're in sales, you're working, right? You're working to make money. So I'll give you an example to make you understand like what the standard is, right? For a setter. For a setter, the standard that you should be doing, it's like an average. It's not like the top tier people, it's a standard, right? You should be doing at least 100 inputs, right, a day. That is
100 calls.
No, yeah, calls, DMs, whatever you're doing. That is at least, right? That is like a normal setter. At least 100 outputs a day. That is, be it 100 DM sent, 100 calls you're dialing. That is like the bare minimum which you should do if you expect to get hired into like a bigger company, right? Makes sense?
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion on that? So like in my current role, I'm doing like 200 to 300 calls anyway. So that's the KPI. So I'm aware of that, and I can double down on that.
So the difference is you're gonna get paid way more if you're doing that in the right vehicle, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So that is like the normal stuff. 100 is like the normal stuff for like a average salesperson. Now, if you want to make the like, which is what I want you to do, right? We don't really set for like the average. If you're an average, there is no specific reason for anyone to actually hire you. Why? Because if you look at my DMs, bro, I could literally show you this shit right now. It's crazy. So if you go to my IG right here, let's go to my chats, let's go to my request. Do you know all these people? This is a setter. 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 All these people you see over here, are fucking sales reps. You know what? None of them get approved into my DMs, right? Why? Because I just look through the message and I understand if they're like good or bad, right? If someone just texts me saying that you know what, I'll be the best seller, I'll be sending literally 300 DMs every single day, even if you don't check up on me, I would actually at least have a conversation with them, right? All these people are just doing copy paste shit, right? So that is what separates from like the average stuff to like the top tier stuff. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is the number one part, right? Number one part, which is this is the standards. You should meet these standards if you want to be if you want to make a lot of money with setting, right? That is number one. Number two, this is what you want to understand, right? There are no good offers in appointment setting. Every offer is it's met, or every offer is shit. You know what makes a good offer? It's you. You are what makes a good offer, right? Every single person, every offer has leads. Be it cold leads, be it warm leads, be it fucking frozen leads, like warm cooked leads. Like there's a shit ton of leads, right? Every offer has leads. It depends on you how you treat it to classify it as like a good offer, right? I'll give you an example. There could be one dude who's like really soft, who's sending 100 DMs a day on an inbound offer, and he'd be making 2K a month, for example, just a pure example, right? And there could be another dude who's working fucking 16 hours a day on cold prospects, right? Cold prospects, and he's sending out like 500 DMs a day, and he would make like 10K a month, even with cold prospects, right?
Yeah, it's because
he's the one who's like controlling the variables of him making money, right?
Yeah.
I think of people who are like broke, and I just think, like, why are they broke? I analyze this stuff, right? The only reason why they're broke is because they're not doing enough output, right? Because making money is so simple. If you want to make money, you need to get attention. How do you get attention? It's either organic content, cold DMing, paid ads. You don't have money for ads as a sales rep. You don't have that. Organic content, yeah, for sure. You could tap into that. You could sell a course. It's fine. But this is the easiest thing, right? You don't need money. You don't need to spend time. You just need to fucking type on a computer, right?
Yeah, it's a work ethic.
Yeah, the more you put inputs, the more you get paid. So that is the second part, right? Any leads you see, if you have their contact information, they are a lead, right? If you can contact them, they are a lead. You are not, as a seller, if you want to be a great seller or like a great sales rep, for example, you do not complain of the lead quality, right? Any leads you see, anyone who you can contact, they can be sold to. That is something which you want to hammer inside your head. Make sense?
Yep. Absolutely.
Right. So that is the second part of it. And now the third part of mindset, right? Now, volume does play a part. It plays the biggest part. If you are like stupid as fuck and still you hit like 1,000 DMs every single day, you're going to make money, right? That is like just one part of it. But after the second part is that you still need the quality of the work, right?
Yeah.
You could make money with a lot of volume for sure, but if you can put the same, like let's say you're putting an extra 30 seconds, right, into the same work, you're being creative, right? You're going to send, like, let's say you're not going to send like 500 DMs a day. Let's say you only send like 200 DMs a day. But the 200 DMs which you sent, or like the 200 dials which you do, but you did a little bit of research, a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of analysis, right, before the call, and you do that with quality. So one being quantity, right, being quantity, and number two being quality. If you combine them both and do as much volume as you can, you're going to make much more and better results than anything else. That is literally what you need: volume and quality.
Volume and quality.
Volume, write this down. You need volume and quality. That is literally what you need. And none of it could be compromised. You cannot compromise the volume. You could not compromise the quality, right? The only thing you could do is doing it more. And the only thing which you spend is going to be your time, right? Your time will be spent making sure that these two are like at the perfect condition, and you're going to repeat it. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
That's the third part of it. And that is like the whole mindset part, which I want you to adapt, right? Before you're getting into anything related to sales, this is what you want to adapt, right? Every leads depends upon you. A good offer is made by the person who is doing the sales, and everything is on you, right? The accountability of you making money is going to be directly dependent on what? Your skill set, your hungriness, and everything. There is no such thing as a good offer. It is a fucking scam, right? It is shiny object syndrome. There is no good offers. Every offer has shit things and good things about them. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So that is the first part of it. Now let's go on to like the main appointment setting stuff. Let's learn about appointment setting. What do you know about appointment setting right now?
Yeah, so what I know is that, like client, inquires through like the ad funnels or something like that, and it's your job to ring these people, understand their situation, qualify them, and solve their problem, and then book them in for a meeting.
Right. That is half right. It's not fully right. Let's understand appointment setting. Now that's the reason why I said I want you to understand this before we actually move on to the advanced stuff, right? What the fuck is me? Let me just close this shit. I don't want any text. Yep. All right. So let's understand appointment setting. Appointment setting starts when a lead is coming into our system, right? For a business, when a lead is coming inside our system, that is when appointment setting starts, right? And your whole goal is going to be to make sure that the lead that opted in shows up to a meeting, right? For the close the deal. That is your whole journey of appointment setting, which is a basic part, right? And what you should be doing in this journey is simply this. Number one, you got to make sure the prospect has a problem that we can solve, right? Because if there's no problem which we can solve, there's no reason for booking a call. A lot of people just ignore this fact. They just book in as much meetings as they can. There's no point.
Yeah.
You make money if the deal is closed. And how is the
Yeah.
deal closed? If there is a problem that is there, it should be solved, right?
Yeah.
So if there is no problem, what do you do with the prospect? Just give me an answer. Like, what do you do if there's no problem?
If there is no problem, then there's no point of booking the meeting. But I'll
No.
try ask more questions and
That's wrong. That's bullshit. If there is no problem, you create problems, right?
create problems. Yeah.
No one's life is perfect, right? No one's life is perfect. Everyone has if no one is satisfied with what they have, right? So let's say even if they're making 500K a month, I mean, yeah, they're good. They're making a lot of money, but it wouldn't hurt them to make $1 million a month, right? There's
Yeah.
going to be some problems which they are there is some problems which is causing them to be staying stuck at 500K a month, right? So they wouldn't realize it. They're in their mind, they're yeah, I'm making 500K a month, right? But still, if they don't have a problem, we could create problems
Yeah. Yeah.
and make them understand. I mean, yeah, 500K a month is fine. What about 1 mil a month? Like, why are you not at 1 mil a month? Now there's problems, right? Now
Yeah.
there's problems which we can solve, right?
Yo, it's me again. It's been 10 minutes, so I just want to give you a break, right? And in a break, I want you to listen to this carefully, right? So if you're a business owner, hit me up on my Instagram or book in a call with the link which is in the description so that if you have any sales problems, any revenue problems, I can solve it for you because I am a professional problem solver when it comes to revenue, right? I'm a revenue problem solver. Whatever problems you have, I fix it. So be it a sales problem, be it a lead gen problem, be it a LTV problem, whatever problems you have, people pay me to solve it, right? There's 9-figure business owners paying me to solve it. So go book in a call or send me a text on IG. Let's solve your problems. And yeah, I'm not going to take much of your time. So let's just go back to the training.
So coming back to the topic, make sure that the prospect has problem that we can solve, right?
Yeah.
That is number one. If they don't have problems, we
Create
create
problems.
and then make sure that we can solve it and only then book them into the call. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's the number one part. Number two, financial qualification. If they don't have finances, there is no point booking them in. You're only wasting the closer's time. The more
Yeah.
time the closer could be using for something else is really valuable, right? You do not book someone in if they are not financially qualified. There is no point, right? When I say financially qualified, I'm not saying that they have X amount of money that they have set aside to invest. That is not what I'm saying. If they're making enough money, right? If they're making let's say if our product is 3K, and if they're making 3K a month, they have the money. They could afford it, right? It's not after let's say for example they're making some people just think that if the prospect says I have $1,000 to invest, but he's making 20K a month. I mean, the prospect would always lie. He would say he only has 1K to invest, right? That's what they say, right? I'll give you a very, very good example, right? You're making 2K a month right now, right?
Yeah.
You paid me literally half of what you're making, right?
Yeah.
Of a monthly thing, right? Just for this trading which you're getting, right? So what does that mean? Even a 20K prospect, if you do this thing right, they might still say they only have 1K, or for example, you coming and you said that you have 300 to invest, right? But you ended up paying 1K, right?
Yeah.
Paying 1K. I closed you on 1K because I created problems for you.
Yeah.
Make you understand. I mean, I could get a lot of job offers, but then who's gonna place me, right? Now I created a problem and I made sure that you're financially qualified, and then I sold you on what that is the closest thing, right?
That's exactly
That's the closest thing. But for you as a seller, what you need to understand, the person who's coming into your call, they have the money to invest. At least they're making whatever they're making, right? So if you're making 2K a month, then I know that this dude can spend 2K if I want to make him spend 2K. A great closer can close it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the second part. You need to understand that they are financially qualified, right? So those are the three things. They have a problem. If they don't have a problem, you make a problem, and then they have a problem, right? That's the first part. And second part, they're financially qualified, right? That's what you need to do in setting. Makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Be it DM setting, be it phone setting, it's the same process. That is the number one part, right?
Yeah, financial qualified.
And now let's go into the number two part, right? That is only the setting part of things. But you need to do more things to make sure that you're making money. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, you only make money when they're closed, right? So let's assume that you book them in, right? You book them in on a call. You know that they're financially qualified. They have a problem. You know that. But if they don't show up to the call, then you're not making money, right? You only make money when the deal is closed. So now this is your problem. You might say that this is not my problem. The closer should call them up, but it is your problem, right?
Yeah.
I would rather be rich than be right? So that's the thing. So The next part for setting, the third element is gonna be making sure that these people show up, right? How do you make sure that these people show up? You follow up with these people. Like, let's say a lot of sellers, I see a lot of sellers doing this, right? They just literally book in a call, right? And they just forget about the prospect, never follow up, never make sure they're all good, never make sure that they're coming up, no reminders, nothing.
So-
which is bullshit.
Yeah, so in that, would you say like the time frame? So let's say the call is booked for after 3 or 4 days. Is it better to follow them up because they might forget in that time?
Number one, like this is something which is like the advanced thing, which I'm going to talk about like later on, but never book a call like more than 2 days in advance. Never do that. They're going to not, right? The show rate decreases drastically. The best is like booking in the same day. The second best is the next day, and the last thing which you should do is like going to be the second day. Nothing more than that, right? But coming back to your question, you follow up with everyone. Like let's say you booked them. Like let's say a call is booked for the next, like in the next 6 hours. What you gonna do? Like you're not gonna be sitting there like thinking that they're gonna show up potentially. If you sit there are variables which could happen, right? You might miss out on a lot of money. If they showed up, if they close, you're gonna make money. If they doesn't, like you just lost on like how much, like 500, 1K, like whatever you're gonna make on commissions, you just lost that, right? So you might just hit them up maybe 3 hours from when they're booked, right? Or like maybe like 1 hour from when they're booked. You're gonna send out as much reminders as possible, but not like hey, just following up, not like that. You're gonna have a reason, right? Maybe you could just hit them with some value. I know that we have a call booked in like the next 6 hours. Just wanna make sure that I send this to you, like a YouTube video to you, so that you get an understanding on like what's going to happen on the call, and then just get more value prior to getting on the call, right?
Okay.
Or maybe something like I know the call is in the next hour, so I just want to maybe make you understand, like just get a pen and paper and then make sure that you're ready for the call so that you can get the most out of the call, right? So when never text someone if there's no reason to text someone, but if there's no reason, you create reasons, just as I said for the problems, right?
Yeah.
That's what you say, like never text someone if there's no reason. And if there's no reason, fucking make up reasons to text them, right?
Okay.
And always keep following up. Make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect. And like that follow up is to make sure that they show up, right? There's different kinds of follow ups. This one is specifically for making sure that they show up. Right? So what did we learn? If they need a problem,
create a problem.
Yeah, that's in the problems, right? They need a problem. They need to be financially qualified. You need to make sure that they show up. Those are the three things. What's the fourth thing? Most of the sellers don't know, right? This is the main thing. So if you were a closer, let's say for example, right, and you get a cold prospect who doesn't know what the product is, doesn't know what we do, stuff like that, the closer would need to like be in the call, explain to them, sell them our stuff a lot more, and then try to close the thing, right? But on the other hand, like let's say the prospect is coming in after doing their own research. They're only there so that they get the information that is needed and they can buy. For example, I'll give you a really good example. The first time you hopped on a call with me, I had to sell a lot of things, right? I had to sell that the sales coaches are bullshit, all these people are shit, X, Y, and Z, right? That is how a closer treats a cold prospect, right? Now, yesterday, when you hopped on a call with me, I made sure you watched literally those testimonials, right? You watched those testimonials, and then you read the document, you read the fucking prices, everything. You are educated enough to hop on a call. Now, what happened? I did not have to go through the whole sales process. I was like,
because I already understood.
Yeah, you are warm as fuck, right? Just like that, you converted, you paid me, right? So, for a closer, this situation is much more favorable to close a deal, right? So if you're educated, the prospect is educated, they will close a lot more deals, right? So you as an appointment setter, what should you do? You should do everything in your power to make sure that the person going in is educated enough in what your prospect is being sold to, or like what your business is selling, right? So like let's say for example you're selling a sales coaching, you send them YouTube videos or like resources. Like if they watch it, they won't have any questions to ask. They only need the price and how to move forward, right? That is what you need to make of the prospect, right? So that is the fourth thing. I'm not sure if you understood it. Like,
I understood.
It's making sure that they warm. Does that make sense? Like all these four.
Yeah, it makes sense. The fourth one.
And that is literally appointment setting 101. That's it.
That's it. So that's all the steps.
That is the whole framework, as in like the components of appointment setting. There is literally the in-depth stuff, like the details, the tactical stuff is there, but this is the whole
Basics, yeah.
basics of appointment setting, what setting is. Be it DM setting, be it phone setting, it's the same, right? Cold calling, same shit, right?
Yeah. Understood.
Setting. Now let's get into like a bit more into the rabbit hole, right? Let's understand like the 3 types of setting, right? There's 3 types of setting, and all these 3 types of setting has different ways of setting, right? This is like the practical stuff. So there is inbound setting, there's warm outbound setting, there's cold outbound setting, right? Do you understand? Like, do you know what those are? Those 3 are.
Yeah. So the inbound ones and the warm ones are like the ones that inquired. So they inquired for us to call them, and the outbound ones are our job to call them, kind of sell them. On the right lines.
The kind of like, but then like here's the thing: inbounds, people who text you, right?
Yeah.
Warm outbound are the people who engages with your stuff. Like, let's say for example, they engaged on a lead form, or like let's say they liked on an Instagram profile, or like they commented on something. They commented like, let's say like, yeah, this stuff is solid or something like that. Those are warm outbound leads. Make sense?
Yeah.
And the cold outbound leads are like the people who got no idea who you are. You're reaching out to them randomly and then trying to get them booked in, right?
Yeah.
So let's understand how we could go about setting all these 3 kind of people, right? Let's start with inbound setting, right?
Yep.
Inbound setting is the easiest thing. It's the easiest, right? Inbound setting is the easiest. So how do we set inbound prospects? Like, what do you need to do, right? The main goal with inbound setting is easy, right?
Yeah.
Getting them booked on a call as soon as you can, right?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So for outbound setting, you might need to ask some questions, but then for inbound setting, if they're like coming in with us, you won't need to like ask them this, like, what is the problem that we can solve, right? Like, just as I said before, what is something,
problem.
right? The problem. You understand if there's a problem, and they're like, yeah, we have a problem now. Okay, perfect, right? They have a problem. If they say there's no problem, you create problem, and then like ask them a question to lead the conversation, right? That is what you do in inbound setting. And then I wouldn't even ask about the financial thing if you have like a financial qualifying form.
Okay.
Right? Which we'll get on to like the next like sessions. There's like more in-depth stuff which I want to talk about, but that's most 2 things, right? Which you want to do inbound. If they're interested, like as in like if they have a problem, they financially qualify. Number 3 and 4, like the same thing, right? Nurturing them and then make sure that they show up. Like it's simple as that, right?
Yeah.
That's literally what you need to do when it comes to
inbound.
Right. Okay. Inbound, you don't waste time saying like, oh, where are you from, by the way? Like, what you do for work? Like, no shit like that.
Yeah.
Directly, as soon as they come in, you get them booked on a call. No more time wasting, right? You only get the most important things, what they need, if they can afford it, literally. Then you book them in, make sure they show up, they're warmed enough. That's literally what you do, right? That is inbound setting. Now, that is the easiest setting. Now let's get on to warm outbound and cold outbound, right?
Yeah.
Warm outbound. Let me see if I can show you an example of warm outbound, right?
Is it the ones that that engage through could be ads or something like that?
Yeah. That's the thing. So here's the thing with warm outbound, right? In warm outbounds, you cannot be like, yo, what's the problem financially? Are you okay? No one is going to say that, right?
Yeah.
You're going to say that they would reach out to you, right? If they don't reach out to you, you don't really have any power. You don't hold any power on them, right? If you are reaching out, they are the ones in control, right? So the main goal with outbounds, which are warm, is going to be to get control, right? That's your main thing.
Okay.
So this is like just understand this. Like, this is the process which I use for warm outbound, right? First one is building a rapport, right? So the rapport building could be something like, yo, I just saw that you commented on one of my reels. I just saw that from your profile you do X, Y, and Z, like, and then just a small talk, right?
Yeah.
We do a small talk to build rapport. That's for only warm outbound, by the way. We don't do this in inbound, right?
Yeah, that's only warm. Yeah.
You build rapport so that they text you back, right? And then you uncover the problem, right? For inbound leads, they already have a problem, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're texting you. But for warm outbound leads, they don't have a problem.
You have to create one, yeah.
You gotta create a problem, right? So how do you create a problem? You do the discovery, right? And this is literally the flow of discovery, right? Where they're from, you just ask them where they're from, what do they do for work, just to get the report, and after that, you could just connect it to like the problem, right? What's their current situation? You could say something like, yeah, so most of the people who follows me or like just likes my content are people who typically needs like some helps with sales part of things. How's your close rate looking, right? Maybe something like that, just to engage with the problem, right? So they're gonna say, I mean, it's not the best, and then you just go on with it. You dig deeper, right? There's something like, when you say like it's not the best, like what do you mean? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
You make them say that they have a problem, right? Get that?
Yep.
They have a problem, and then after that you go for the goals, right? As in, like, let's say for example, after they give you the problem, like basic discovery, you just ask them, okay, fair enough, man, I see that you do have a problem, but when it comes to that, when you like, let's say potentially like, what are you trying to achieve? Like, what's your goals with this by solving this problem, right? That's the next step. Makes sense? I'm gonna go for the next steps, and after that is like, what is stopping them from getting to that?
Yeah, what's stopping them?
Yeah, what's stopping them? So write this down, right? Rapport building, number one.
Yep.
Getting their current situation / problems, that's number 2.
Yep.
And number 3 is their goals, right?
Yep.
And this is the part where we could maybe even do the financial qualification if there's no form to do it. Like, let's say for example, they say their current situation is like they're at like 2K a month, they want to get to 10K a month, right? That's like both of these things, right? Maybe some people wouldn't say, they would say that they wouldn't say how much they're making right now, but they would say they want to make 10K a month, right? So you do need to understand like how much they're making, right? But you can't really ask like how much you're making.
Yeah, so you have to say it a bit like indirectly. So is it like along the lines of, you say, you want to make 10K, how far are you off that? They might say I'm 3K or 4K.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. That could be one of it, right? Yeah. It doesn't really matter about the verbiage. It's just that principle, right? Okay, fair enough, man. So if you want to like get to like, let's say 10K a month, how much extra do you want to make a month, right? So that could be something. So you connect that stuff, right? That's like a small quickie which I'll give you. But after that, like after getting goals, you go for what is stopping them right now from getting from point A to point B, and this is called the bridge. Make sense?
Yeah.
And the reason why we say this is pretty important. Most of the people like miss out and skip this step because, like, just imagine this: like someone goes to your situation, someone goes to your goal, and someone like after getting all that, just proposes a call with you. You would just think that it's like salesy because there's no point of. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
What the hell? Shit. Okay. So once you get the situation and then goals, like there's no point of you actually getting on like, yeah, do you want to talk like 15 minutes later this week? There's no point of doing that, right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we ask them what is stopping them, right? So it could be in a lines of this, right? All right, man, fair enough, I understand that. So you're making 2K a month right now, you want to get to 10K a month, that's all fair enough, man. But I'm just genuinely curious right now. Like, what kind of is like stopping you right now from getting from 2K to 10K a month? Is it like a lack of time, lack of guidance, lack of like fucking whatever, right? Give them options, right? So when you ask like that, you're going to actually get what is stopping them. Now, you get what's stopping them, but number 2, now you could present a fucking solution, right? Because if you only have like goals, they're not asking for a solution, right? But if you get like what is actually stopping them, then congrats, you got something to sell as a solution, right? If they say it's lack of time, we could get you more time. If they say it's lack of guidance, we could give you guidance, right? And now that's how you create a problem and you fucking solve that problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I had the call from you said what's stopping me, I said it's the network around me and the placements. That's the main reason I was stopping me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get that, right? Now I created a problem and I am solving it, right? Yeah. And the solution which you're gonna say, oh, fair enough, man. You know what? Actually, one of my clients had the same problems, and then this is how we fix it. If you are like open to it, maybe we could hop on a 15-minute chat later this week, and maybe help you solve that problem if you're down, like just casually. That's how we pitch the call after that, and then boom, you get them on a calendar, right? And then simple as that. That's how we do appointment setting, right?
Yeah.
That's literally the principles of outbound, warm outbound setting, right? Rapport building. Situation, problem awareness, discovery of like their goals, what is stopping them, pitching them for the call. You don't have to complicate it more than that. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
That is literally what you need to do for outbound setting. Now, I could show you some examples. There should be some examples. Maybe I'll show you as an example. I think you were an outbound prospect.
Yeah, I'm outbound, yeah.
Let's go. What's your IG?
Adan. Yeah. Yeah, that one now. The first one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go and see what is happening. Let's go to the top. Let's see when you reached out. What was happening? This is how. What the fuck is that? It's for Sunday. Yeah, that is that. Right. So there was a little bit of nurturing as well in this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you commented something, and I was like, "Do you want access to that?" I gave you access to that. That's like a lead magnet, right? I give you a lead magnet, and then after that, see, this is the rapport building phase. By the way, where are you from, right? And you are like, I'm from the UK. Rapport building. I saw you applying about, I'm in Dubai, like just rapport building. And then next part, like, what do you do for work? Rapport building. Are you full-time in sales, right? Same thing. I'm getting more information out of you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just getting more information, like just to build rapport. Enough rapport. Are you in person sales, right? And like just building rapport more and more and more. You don't really have to like build this much rapport, to be honest, but I was like feeling it at that point of time. And then I was like, building rapport, right? And this was me just fucking flexing on you, because salespeople, most of them are broke, and if I flex on them, like I made 2K from this, right? Literally 2K from this, and this is also rapport building, right? I'm building enough rapport in such a way that like you are like respecting me to the roof, right? I made 2K from like doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
You're like making 2K a month, right? So for you, that's like a really big thing. Like you'd be like, oh shit, this dude knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That kind of, like, if he's
Yeah.
making 2K in a day, and I'm making it in a month.
Yeah, exactly. I made 2K that day, right? The other day, like literally, I think 2 weeks back, I made like around 5K in a day, literally.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So most of the sellers, what they do, they would just follow the framework of like, yeah, the scripted thing, as in like what? Where are you from? What you do for work? What's stopping you? Or like, what's the problems? What's the goals? What's stopping you? Book the call. If you do some shit like that, you're going to be replaced by fucking AI, right? The reason why appointment setters will not be replaced by AI, if they know how to do this, right? They know how to handle humans, right? Making the like the rapport building. If you can build enough rapport, the sale is made easy, right? This is the structure. I want you to study this, right? And I was like going for the goals, I think. After that, what is that? Yeah, this is the goals, right? After doing the rapport building shit, I went for this, right? What is like your ideal earnings you're trying to get into, right? Like for example, how much you want to get. That's what I was like asking them. I mean, asking you, like, how much you want to make, right? You said you gave me the goal, right? 5K per month, and now it's like bridging. I think this one was like for fucking bridging, right? Probably like what's stopping you? The skills and the network for the opportunities. I gave you. I mean, you gave me literally a problem.
Yeah.
You give me a problem. Now what is there left? I pitch the solution, right? Over here, I do financial qualification as well, right? Because I know like when I'm selling to people who are like not making that much money, then I need to like do the financial qualification in the DMs. Just go through it, you can understand. But after that, I was like literally pitching you on a call, right? I pitched you on a call, and there you are, you fucking paid, right?
Yeah.
So that is warm outbound. Makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
That's that. Now let's get on to the cold outbound part, because if you're like a setter who don't like to do cold outbound, I hate to break it to you, you're not a salesperson, right?
Yeah, I'm used to that. Yeah.
Yeah, cold is still sales, right?
Yeah.
Like here's the thing, warm outbound offers are like the hardest offers to get. But if you just go to like literally anyone and ask them like, I want to do cold outbound for you, literally everyone would say like, yeah, do it for me, I don't mind, right?
Yeah.
So you will never be jobless. You'll always have something to work on, right?
Yeah.
So let's understand cold outbound. So cold outbound is like the hardest thing to do, right? Cold outbound is like really hard to do. It's not the easiest stuff, but if you can crack cold outbound really well, then warm outbound and inbound is going to be a fucking piece of cake, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I used to be always doing cold outbound. Like the reason why I'm the best at appointment setting, why? It's because I used to be a cold setter, cold calling, fucking cold DMing, outreaching, right? I used to do the most random shit to get the leads, right?
Yeah.
Like cold outreaching is like not sales, it's more of a lead gen, right?
Lead gen.
Yeah. So the main principle of cold outbound, which I could say, is gonna be number one, selling yourself point by point, right? I'll give you a good example. Like let's say for example, I'm not sure, like do you have a girlfriend?
No, not yet.
Have you had a girlfriend before?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll give you an example though, right? So if
Yeah.
you want to get a girl, you can't really just go to them in the streets and be like, yo, do you want to fuck? You don't do that, right?
Yeah.
You go to the streets and then you be like, yo, you look really pretty. Can I get your number? That's number one. And then once you get the number, what you do? You just text them on IG and then like, just you build a rapport and then you be like, yeah, do you want to go on a date? Right? That's the second step, right?
Mm.
And then after you go on a date, you be like, yeah, I don't know, like potentially you kiss her, right? That's like the next step, right? And then after that, you take her to your apartment, right? And then you smash, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole sequence of this stuff. So the problem with cold out bonds that most of the people do is it's same as like you go to a random chick and be like, yo, do you want to fuck? The same, just like that. If you ask someone, it's not going to work, right? And that is literally how everyone is doing cold outreaching nowadays, right? Cold outbound. So coming back to the cold outbound thing, like apart from the checks, how you do cold outbound is like pretty simple. You sell each step, right? So if you're sending a cold DM, that cold DM is not going to be for booking a fucking call. It's going to be to selling them to take you from the request to their primary folder. Or if you're dialing these people up, you call them and be like, you're going to sell them. You're going to ask them, can I get fucking 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So you sell each step so that you can go and sell the next and next and next and next step, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a really good example. So you can understand much more from examples, right? A really good friend of mine, like we just became friends recently from a fucking cold account. This dude, for example, I just saw him like right now. I'll show you his profile. He got like fucking 2 mil, right?
2 million.
He follows me. Let me show you that. He follows me.
Yeah.
And I'll show you how we got to that point. So I'm doing cold outbound, right? I'm doing cold outbound. So the setting of cold outbound is like completely fucking different, right? I'm selling each step, right? So this is the cold outbound text which I said. Nikki, call me stupid, but I think for a fact that you won't pay someone who just DM'd you, but are you opposed to the idea of paying me after I make you a lot of money, right? Now I'm selling the DM, right? Now if he sees that, he's gonna get me into his what? Primary folder.
Primary, yeah.
I'm not asking him to like fucking book a call, because I would show you like a random example of like some other motherfucker doing that. Let's find someone. Let's take this dude for example. See, just some random shit. Talk soon. Hell no, I'm not talking to nobody, right? I'm not talking to this dude, or the fuck that is, right? I'm not talking to him. So you don't do that. You do this, right? You basically sell yourself each step by step, right? And that is like you don't really have to read through all this. But what I'm trying to emphasize is that, right? That is one example. I'll give you another example. So this dude paid me like 5K the other day. So this is another business owner. So where's Jonathan? Yeah, this dude for example.
Oh, Jonathan.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to the top. Yeah, I sent a random bad cold outreaching text, right? What is up, brother? How are you? No one's gonna get a fucking reply to that, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no reason. And then after that, he posted a story doing some shit, right? I provided him with value. Like this was a hook. There is an alternative. What you're doing is fucking shit, right? And then I gave him value, right? So because of that value, he's like, he responded, right? Now, like the hook is there, right? Makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense. The hook.
So that is how you approach when it comes to like the cold out, right? So if you can approach, like if you can take this principle and take it from cold outbound, this is not important by the way. I'm just making you understand, right?
Yeah.
You can take the cold outbound thing, selling the stuff step by step into warm outbound or even inbound. You're gonna be better than literally any rep. AI is not gonna replace you. People are gonna pay extra to get you, right? And that is appointment setting. Right, that is appointment setting. You don't have to complicate. And there's one more last thing, which is follow-ups. And follow-ups, I just want to give you an example and make you understand. Right, follow-ups is pretty easy. There's nothing easier than follow-ups. You just got to do it. Right. So I had a chat with him, like maybe like around like July 27th. Right. He had a chat, finished. Like this is the first follow-up. Right. He posted a story. He wanted salespeople. How can we help? Right. And he's like, I'll reply later. Right. And I followed up once again, right? After 3 days, I followed up. After 4 days, I followed up again.
Yeah.
And followed up, like I'll just make sure that I'm here, right, in his ecosystem. So these are all follow-ups, right? August 17th, August 23, and August 26th, he finally texted me, right? And after that, I followed up with him again, right? After 26, I think this is like one day after that, he texted me, and then yeah, one day after that, this was like 27th, right? One day after that, he did not close. I followed up again, right?
Yeah.
And after that, like 27th, I followed up again. And after that, he's like, let me review it, get back to you. We'll get back to you today in like, it was like 27th August. And then 5th of September, that's when he said he'll like get back to me, right? And I was like, yeah, yes, sir, let's do it. And now again, we were like just having a conversation, and then, yeah. It just goes on, right? And then, you know, when he was sold, we started the chat at like around 20th of July. And what is today? Today is like October 11th, right? He was sold 2 weeks back, right?
2 weeks back.
Yeah, so it took me from July to September, some shit, like September 28th or something, to get that sale, right? But if I hadn't followed up, I wouldn't have made that 5K, right?
Yeah.
But since I followed up more than fucking 8 to 10 times, I made that 5K. What does that tell you? If you don't stop, you're not gonna make money. Or like any deal which you have, no deal is gonna be closed at like the first follow up. No one, right? As an appointment setter, if you don't follow up, you're not gonna make money, right?
Yeah.
The money is in the follow ups, right? And a lot of sales coaches would tell you like to do follow ups, but they won't tell you like why you need to follow up, right? Because they never do follow up. They don't understand this shit, right? When I say you need to follow up, I got conviction behind that because I follow up with prospects and I make sure that they're paying me as well, right?
Yeah.
Get paid to do follow-ups, and that's what you do. So since now you've seen that these people has paid me for it, now you would understand, okay, shit, this dude not only told me that you need to follow up, he has shown me that someone paid him 5K to literally, right? So now you get like understanding. Makes sense? That's the most important part. And when you're following up, you don't follow up with like you're just following up.
Yeah, you don't send like generic text messages.
Yeah, you're providing value and you're just relating to them like whatever like relevant, and you don't really have to like follow up every time. You just need to like keep your presence over there, right? For example, the story, like let's say they're posting a story, you just fucking do the laughing emoji, right? If you introduce yourself right, they would always know that you are a person who's like the go-to guy for the specific industry you are, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes all you need to do is like just doing that fucking laughing emoji. It's just it's that simple, right?
Yeah.
So that's the follow-up part. And I think this is literally the basics of appointment setting that like I mean like a lot of people will teach you like a lot of shit, but I don't think it's like necessary to learn. Now, I'm not sure, right? I don't know if you know like something is just like more important than this, but if you know all this stuff, there's literally nothing else which you would need to know when it comes to appointment setting, right?
Yeah.
It's that easy. So this is like the basic stuff. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
And yeah, I think in this call I just want to like go through with the basics, and maybe in like a day or two, maybe we get out like the advanced stuff.
Yeah.
And I could get you into like more in detail and shit, right?
Yeah.
For like the main tactical stuff which you do when you're sending this DM, you should do this. For this DM, you should do that. Data tracking, all these things, right?
Yeah. That'll be on the advanced call.
Yeah. And did this call give you value when it comes to like the knowledge aspect?
Yeah, absolutely. It taught me a lot, you know, because I knew some of the knowledge, but I know now in more detail, you know, like what to do and stuff.
That's good. That's good. Because like Jonathan, probably the one we shall be hiring you for is going to be for Jonathan. We're going to be launching a webinar next week.
Jonathan, the one that you showed me.
Yeah, the one who paid me 5K.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty much it for today. Do you have any questions? Because
Yeah. So, you know, like as you said, you know, you do DMs and calling, but is it like, do you do like 100 calls and then 100 DMs as well if you want? It's up to you.
The more you do, the more money you make.
The
How
more
much
you
money do you want to make? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
There was a point when I was like doing 300, 400 DMs a day, right? So when I was broke, I used to do that.
Yeah.
I think I should start doing that again because you would make more money when you're doing this, right? Who wouldn't want more money?
Yeah. And
So
is the DMs, is it through Instagram that you're doing it?
DMs could be like, what are your offer on or is doing? Like, let's say you're placed on an offer, right?
Yeah.
So you're on IG, you can only do like, I think 30 DMs per account a day or 40. So you get more accounts to do more DMs, right? I have like 7 accounts with me to do DMs, right?
Yeah.
So it could be IG, could be LinkedIn, it could be like here's the thing with IG though. If they're reaching out to you, you can have as much conversation as you want. Cold DMs you can only do like let's say 30 per day, right?
Okay.
But if they're like reaching out, you can have like as much conversation as you want, right?
Yeah.
And warm out bonus. But if they comment on some of your shit, you could text them. There's no limit to it. There's no
Yeah.
limit, right? That's why we have like mini chats and shit like that. So we could do like those volumes. So when you're like working for someone who has like volume coming in, that is what matters, right? Cold outbound, you can't really do like that much volume because you cannot.
Alright, so that was the basics. I hope you enjoyed till the half of it. Now, don't leave this yet, because you only know the basics now. You need to know more of the advanced stuff, right? So the next half is going to be more of the advanced training of appointment setting. As a DM setter, as a phone setter, whatever setting you do, business owners, setters, keep watching, and let's talk at the end of the video.
Right. So last time we covered the mindset, the setting process, the inbound setting, outbound setting, cold outbounds, and follow-ups. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let's actually start with some easy stuff for starters. Right. Let's say tonality. Right. Tonality for setters. Right. So this is something which I want you to understand on a deeper level. Right. So the trend which is going on right now is obviously you have seen it, AI, right? AI is replacing a lot of setters. So you know why that's the case? Is everyone has a shit tonality, right? Everyone are like a bot. So whenever an appointment setter is in the DMs, what happens? Like it tend to happen that you're just an AI could easily replace them, right? Because of the way which they're speaking, they'll be like, "Oh, appreciate you reaching out, so that you're engaging with our content. By the way, what kind of sparked the interest?" Some basic shit which any AI could really replicate, right?
Yeah.
And that is like the main thing, which is like I know a lot of people who are like losing their jobs as an appointment setter because they are like easily replaceable, right? And the people who cannot be replaced by AI are the great setters. And the one thing which they have in common is they are human, right? A one-to-one selling is never better than an AI, right? If you are like really great with one-to-one selling, you cannot be replaced by AI. And the main thing with that is going to be the tonality, especially the DMs, right? I don't think phone setters are going to go anywhere, but the DM setters are going to go probably.
Yeah,
But
makes
if you
sense.
have like a really great tonality, then you are safe, even as a DM setter, right? So let's analyze it, right? So normally there's like it's just the 80-20 of it, right? Basically, don't be a bot, right? Just don't be a bot. So, for example, like let's say for the sequence which we went through, for example, do you remember the sequence which is like rapport building, and after that we go for the situation, the desires, what's stopping you, and what was the next one? Like pitching the call, right?
Yeah.
The sequence. So what most of the sellers do when doing that is going to be just I'll give them a script most of the time, right? And what they would do is just literally copy and paste that script, right? And that's a really bad thing. Never do that, right? You're never supposed to follow the script. What you're supposed to do instead is there's a lot of things which you can do, right? You analyze the chats like a chessboard, right? As a chessboard, and then you see what is like the best move to lead them to the next part of the questions, right? So there's not an example which I can show you because I'm not logged into like any of my clients' account right now.
Yeah.
But I can give you an example, right? So like let's say for example, someone just texts you, he's like, oh, he's Gen Z, right? Or like someone our age, right? And just imagine that someone our age is texting you, and then you're like, oh, appreciate the follow, my brother. By the way, what kind of intrigued you into like booking in a call with us, or like some shit like that? Or no one's gonna fucking reply, right? Or instead, at that point of time, you'd be like, you just went through his profile first before you went texting them and understood like what he does. And like, let's say he's like jet skiing or some shit, right? And then you just instead of texting something like you appreciate the message, you say something like, yo, G, nice jet ski you got over there. You've been cooking up, something like that, right? That is going to get a much more response. Why? Because you can relate to these people, right?
Yeah.
Main thing with tonality is like pretty simple. You got to understand the person from in and out, right? For phone setting, it's kind of hard, but for DM setting, it's like pretty easy, right? Especially DM setting is going to be done in like either LinkedIn or IG, so you can literally understand this really well, right? And phone setters, you probably wouldn't be replaced by AI that quickly, right? So for phone setters, it's the same principle, right? So you just build a little bit of rapport. That's literally it, right? So maybe a rapport building could be like, yo, like let's say for example they're from the UK, you're from the UK, or shit, you're from the UK. You just crack some inside jokes, right? Maybe like, oh, how's the fucking immigration shit been treated?
Yeah.
Right? You crack jokes like that, right? Or oh, how's your I don't know, like fucking underage girlfriend treating you. I don't know, like what's like the legal age over there is like fucking 16, right?
Yeah.
Some shit like that. Just cook up some shit like that. That is gonna build your rapport, right? It's a basic stuff. So the main thing when it comes to DM setting and setting or in sales in general is going to be tonality, right? And even when you're speaking, like even in sales calls, like as a closer, that is the main important thing, right? So whenever I'm speaking, you do understand, like when I'm speaking and you're speaking, you see the difference, right? When I'm speaking, it's like kind of, how do I put this? Like it's a bit more authoritative, right? When
Yeah.
people can understand, right? I assert dominance when I'm like speaking to other people. And that is kind of thing which you want as a DM setter as well. Even as a closer, you want it even more. But as a DM setter, you should be able to like assert a little bit of dominance, not a lot of dominance, but a little bit of dominance, right? That's what people usually like. You can't be a pussy, right?
Yeah.
So tonality should be whenever you're speaking, you're so strong. You take pauses. You don't give a fuck what they think, right? And you're like the big boss, and that just comes from within, right? I don't know. Do you hit the gym? Do you hit the gym?
Yeah.
You do? How many times a week do you hit the gym?
Like 4 or 5.
Okay, that's good. Do you box or like do you do any compact sports?
A bit, not too much. I don't box.
Yeah.
Just
Like
play football. Yeah.
yeah, football, like that doesn't count, right? That doesn't count.
Yeah.
So this is what I would suggest for tonality, right? The main thing which people think that if you make your sound, like let's say for example a different way, they think that they get the right tonality, which is not the case, right? So you'd be like, there's like some Jeremy Minor shit, which is like, oh, what kind of impact that had on you? Like, fuck, get the fuck out. Right?
I see that a lot, like the curious tone, that all that.
Fuck that shit, right? Whenever you're speaking to a friend, how do you be curious? Oh shit, really? That's how I be curious, right? Or like the way which you be curious is going to be different, right? Concern is going to be, oh damn, that's my concern tone. So oh shit, what kind of impact had that had on you? Like fuck that shit. It's not my concern tone, right? So you don't have to like, force it onto like other people's concern or like all these tones, right?
Yeah. Do you think you should speak to like a prospect same way as you're speaking to your friend, but just they're a bit different? Because when I'm speaking to my friend, it's like normal. It doesn't seem like salesy.
So don't speak it like you're talking to a friend, right?
Yeah, but like a bit different, you know.
You need a sense of authority, right? That's what I'm trying to get into, right? So when you're speaking to a prospect, you like the best way to do it is be better at all the things which is not sales, right? You get in really great shape, right? You hit the gym, like you lift fucking heavy weights, you fucking start boxing. And the main thing with this tonality is actually confidence, right? Confidence is that, like, let's say when you are talking to someone, you know that the other person which you're talking to is not better than you, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, when I'm talking to someone who's like not making more money than me, I can be like, yeah, I'm really confident, right? Even like nowadays, even if they're making more money than me, I don't really give a shit, right? Because like I train other aspects. I'm like, yeah, I'm waking up at like 4 a.m. in the morning every single day right now, right? So I can be like, there's things like I know, even if I see a business owner, I know he's not working as hard as I'm working, right? So I know that, so I can be more authoritative, right? So sales in itself is like a thing. It's an exchange of energy, right? That's what I would like to say, right? It's an exchange of energy. So me, like let's say for example, I did not know anything about sales. I just know the basic principles, right? And I go with this energy, I will close way more deals than you at your energy, at your frequency. Because why? You don't really have that thing, right? And what I would suggest is keep practicing, right?
Practicing.
Let's say read a book, right? You see a book like this, just read a book and read it out loud, right? For example, John, another Willie mentor retired or some shit like that, right? Just read it out loud and then practice your tonality. Take pauses, don't say ums and ahs. That's kind of gay.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of slip out that as well sometimes, but I'm trying to fix that as well. I don't really do that often, but you see, don't do that.
I use a lot of filler words, so that's why I'm trying to like
That's kind of
eliminate
bad.
that.
Like if you say just feels like you're kind of stupid, right? For example, if I ask someone like what's 2 plus 2, and they're like it's 4.
That's silly. Yeah.
Like, what's 2 plus 2 is fucking 4. I'm pretty smart, right? So that's main part of it, the tonality, and you just take the same cadence into the DMs as well, right? And that's how we do it. So there's mainly 3-4 things. Number 1, the curious tone, which you already know, right? Number 2, concern tone. I don't really use that much, but concern tone is there. That is really important.
Can you say that again?
Number 1, curious tone.
Yeah.
That's a tone which you need to master. Number 2 is going to be the concerned tone, right?
Yeah.
And number 3 is going to be the challenging one. And that's going to be the most important one when it comes to DM setting, right? And a lot of DM setters or even phone sellers don't challenge prospects enough, right? And that's the main reason why they don't really get the respect which they want. And especially when you're representing a client and if you're like not challenging them enough, it just like, let's say for example they're coming in for help, right? So if you're like not even having the balls to challenge them, like what's the point, right? So for example, you could say something like this, like let's say the prospect is giving you something like, yo, I've been doing decently well, I've been making 10K a month so far, I'm just trying to get to the next level, maybe make like 25K a month. You could be literally like, oh, 10K a month, bro, like literally that's nothing, I made that yesterday when I was like sipping my coffee. I don't really think that like you understand like what other people are doing. I just be cocky, and then be like, do you want to continue just doing 10K a month, right? That's like the kind of thing.
Because it makes them like feel about step back and make sure like, oh shit, I'm missing out on something.
Exactly, like that's the thing. That's the main principle, right? The only thing which I want you to understand and take away from this is don't be a fucking bot, right?
Okay.
Always have emotions, always read through the text to get context and reply to that, so that just give 100% effort to like every single text. There is a difference, right? There is a difference between copy and pasting a text, and there is a difference between giving 100% effort into all the text which you're sending, right? There is a difference, and you know it, right? All the sellers know it, and I'm pretty sure even in your job you're not doing it right now, right? All the calls you probably are not giving 100% effort to all the calls. You probably are not, right? And that's what skip, right? If you are giving 100% effort into anything, you're going to make more money. Even with your jobs, you might make more commissions, right? Even with that, you got to be from tomorrow. Just go to your job and like give 100%. See the difference. You would see a difference, right? And that's how you improve, right? That's how you improve. That's basically the tonality aspect. Makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
And the next thing which I have for you is it's kind of okay. Let's keep that for the end. Let's go into like the setting and booking relationship, right? That's what we need to focus on. So this is like kind of an easy one, right? What's the main goal of a setter?
To basically gather all the information about the prospect, book the meeting in, and make sure they attend the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. And like the main thing in that is meetings booked, right?
Just book.
And there's a relationship between the leads to appointments booked, right? And the ratio and everything is pretty simple, right? The more steps you add into the steps, the less likely the prospects are going to convert, right? And that is the reason why I say for inbound leads, you make it as minimum as possible.
Yeah.
And for outbound, you build trust and then get the bit, right? Because we have more to play around with. And the booking kind of thing is like really, this is how I would put it, right? There's going to be two types of people. There's going to be less sophisticated people, and there's going to be more sophisticated people, right? So like, let's say for example, someone who's like in the online space, who's like really like, let's say for example, they've been doing this for a bit now, they're like an agency owner and they know the stuff, right? They know what a Calendly is, they know how to book a meeting. And so for those kind of people, like if you just be like, yo, do you want to set up a call next week? I'll send you my Calendly, send it over. You could book in a meeting, right? That's like a less sophisticated kind of audience. But let's say for example, you're taking audiences like nurses for kindergartens or like some shit like that, right? Or dentists for 60 plus men's work, stuff like that. These people, if you like even try to challenge them, they wouldn't even understand, right? If you challenge them saying something like, oh shit, how has that had an impact on you? They would not reply. Why? They're old as fuck, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't reply. It's all a really, that's what you got to understand, right? With this relationship, you got to make sure that the person which you're talking to can actually respond. And that is also part of selling. And AI cannot replace this shit, right? When you talk to a teenager, you know how to talk to them.
Because you have to make sure like they relate to you.
Yeah, they relate to it, right? For example, like let's say you're talking to an old man. If you ask, yo, what's good, G? How's your weekend been? They wouldn't even fucking reply, right? Or for example, if you say something like, what is up, brother? Or like maybe if it's like not that old, what is up, sir? Or something like that. How's your weekend been? They are going to reply, right? They're respectful, right? So with that being said, that is also a relationship editor. But getting back to my main point, the relationship which I want to focus on, the more steps you add in, the less likely these people are going to convert, right? It's just a basic principle. The more friction you have in a funnel, the less people are going to go through, right? So in your setting process, when you're setting, like let's say less sophisticated people, like the agency owners, the online people, yes, you can go through the same thing which I mentioned before. That is completely fine. But like, let's say you're dealing with more sophisticated people, the approach which you need to take is going to be completely different, right? You're going to have to ask less questions, and your main goal is not going to be to ask questions in the DMs, right? Not when fucking qualifying. If you're on an offer like that, just put that question in the Google form, or like not the Google form, like the Calendly form. You're not going to ask them. You're going to fucking get the booked in, right? You get the problem, get the fucking booked in, and you wouldn't even send them the Calendly link, right? What I used to do is for cases like this, I would just ask them for their email and phone number. I'll just go get their email and phone number in the DMs. I would book it for them, right? I'll just go to Calendly, paste their email, paste the stuff, and then book it for them if they're like that dumb, right?
Yeah.
Then I would ask maybe the questions of like how much they go to invest in the DMs. That is that. But you gotta deal with the prospects in respect to like what, just make their life easier, right? Your job as an appointment setter is not only to book more DMs, you gotta analyze the stuff beyond that, which is like how can I make the life of the prospect so easy that is like unreasonable for them to like to not book a call. It's like so easy, right? That's what you need to do. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's like the small part when it comes to the whole relationship when it comes to that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now let's go to the main sauce, right? This I might need to share my screen. So do you know what sets apart a decent or like a bad sales rep to a good sales rep?
Is it like the amount of questions they ask and how like likely are they to join the call?
No, it's not.
Okay.
There's something data tracking, right?
Yeah.
Data tracking. Did you watch?
Data tracking.
Did you
Yeah,
watch
yeah. I watched it.
By far, for any sales rep, that is the most important part, right? When it comes to anything, like as in when it comes to setting, closing, dialing, whatever the fuck that is the most important part, right? So I'll go through your, like let's say as a setter, your daily workflow, right? I'll give you an example. So I'm not sure if you have something like this. Maybe I could send this to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
You could make a copy of it.
So basically just the end of the day report, just tracking how much they finish.
The report, no.
Oh, okay.
Those are all offer specific.
Okay.
End of the report, like the systems and shit like that. Those are like all offer specific. It has nothing to do with like the whole setting process. So this stuff which you see over here, this is called a CRM, right? There are CRMs in Go High Level, but that is really bullshit, right? Because it takes a lot of time, right, to enter the data in like, let's say Go High Level and stuff like that. It takes a lot of time, but this one is really easy. You just gotta get the name in and you just get to put the Instagram in. That's it. And if you want to follow up, you just add the follow-up dates. Literally, so easy, right? And if you click on this, for example, let's say I'm taking this lead, for example. If this lead is like a positive response, like let's say we reach out and they're like, yeah, that's good, right? I want to have a chat. We move them to positive response. We click on this positive response. Guess what happens? It will jump from here to positive response.
Yeah.
Shit, what is that? The fuck am I clicking, bro? Yeah. Positive response. You see this?
Yeah, see it.
Positive response. So what I want you to understand, this is the first part of data tracking. There's two things when it comes to data tracking, right? The number one part of data tracking is tracking the leads, right? This is called a pipeline, right? This is going to be by far the most important thing when it comes to setting, right? A lot of sellers, do you know what they do? They just text a random bunch of people, and if they don't reply, they go for the next batch. Fuck that shit, right? I close people with follow-ups, right? Follow-ups is the main thing. So if you're like not tracking these things properly, you're gonna miss out on a shit ton of people which would have been booked in and converted with a fucking follow-up, right?
Yeah.
So for example, like let's say after you text a lead, you put them there, and the next day you text them again, and then again and again and again, and then you just move through these sequences: post response, qualified. You know what qualified is? They have the money. VSL, if they like send like the VSL free value for now, just book it over there. If it's like a booked call, you put the booked call over there. If it's like a closed one, you put the closed one over there. Long-term follow-up, if they're like not a qualified fit right now, they want to like just get into more of like that stuff. Put it over. If they reject you, fucking put it over there. Calendly send, instead of like bookings, like just before bookings, you would send a Calendly in some cases, right? So like there's going to be drop-offs. For example, like let's say if you send like 100 Calendly links, maybe 60 people books in. So what happens to the other 40 people who did not book in? Are you just going to leave them with no follow-ups?
No,
Hell,
follow them up.
you follow them up like until they book it and they show up to the call, right? Or for example, like let's say no shows, for example, like let's say 100 people booked in, only 40 people showed up. What happens to the fucking 60 people?
Follow up.
You need to fucking follow up and get them booked in again, right? That literally, this is what AI cannot do. This is what sellers are for, right? This is the reason why we hire sellers, so that they can own their pipeline and do the work. AI cannot do this. They can now. In the future, they could do it, but the problem which we see for AI right now, they cannot do follow-ups which are like not voted follow-ups, right? The follow-ups are kind of voted, right? So it's gonna get better and better, but like here's the thing: if it gets better, you guys are cooked, right? So you gotta be like better than the AI. Now you're competing with machines, right? So you gotta be the best when it comes to setting, right? So you gotta be tracking all the data, and this is the number one thing. This is the pipeline, tracking of pipeline. Now let's go into the next part, right? As a setter, what you need to track, right? So this is split testing, right? So there's going to be a lot of setters who sends out like fucking bunch of random messages and then think that it's working. Do you know how we actually understand if it's like something is working or not, right? We split test it, and how by data, collecting data. And like let's say you're sending a text message that, like let's say, these are all fucking retarded. Like let's say for example, buy my thing. We are sending an outreach message like this, right?
Yes.
And like let's say you're sending 100 messages and 3 people are replying. What does that mean? You're getting 3 people, which means it's a shit message, right? On the other hand, for example, if you look at this, if my thing could change your life, would you buy it? If you send something like that, like these are all like just literally old data which I used to test out, right? So 200 messages sent, we got like 55 replies. That is like 27.5% response rate. That's a really great response rate for a message, right? So you might think, like let's say for example, like let's say your brain tells you that buy my thing is a really great message. You think that's a really great message and you start sending it to prospects, right? And you wonder why these people are not replying or responding, right? And it's going to take you like weeks to figure out that, yeah, this is the problem. The message I'm sending is the fucking problem, that I'm not making enough money, right?
Yeah.
So as a DM setter, AI cannot do this, by the way, right? It can't split test. So as a DM setter, your main thing is going to be revolving, or even in phone setter, same thing, right? Whatever you say as an opening line, right? Would it completely ruin your fucking Thursday morning or like Thursday evening if I told you this was a cold call, right? Some shit like that, right? We split test different things to get the best out of it, right? And we iterate on what is working and we replicate what is like working. That's the main thing, right? So this is essential. This data tracking is essential. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. It just shows what's working and what's not.
What's not working. And there's like one last bit of data tracking which I want you to really understand, right? Actually 2 bits. So let's go into let me see if I can find a sheet for you on that. Let's see. Owned by me. SOP sheet. Where the hell do I find this? It's been a while since I I haven't opened this like in a really long time, so I would like just go back a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not even CRM. I think it should be the tracker. Probably not the tracker. Is it the tracker?
Yeah.
It is the tracker, my bad. It is the tracker, right? This is what you call a tracker, right?
Okay.
So let's go for the setters, for example. These are the data which I want you to track literally every single day, right? You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So like let's say you're doing DM setting, for example, right? So you do like you track these data. How many DMs you send per day? Number one, right? How many DMs did you send? That is number one.
Yep.
Number two, from the DMs which you sent, how many conversations did you have? Right? That is number two, right?
Yep.
Obviously, like if you want to separate follow-ups and new DM send, it's good to separate it. But yeah, DM sent, how many conversations did you have that day? And after that, how many booking links did you send, right? And number four, how many bookings did you have? And how many qualified people bookings you have, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense? That is what you need to track on a day-to-day basis, right? And the percentage which you want to understand is going to be this one, right? So for example, like let's say over here, let's put 700 DMs sent, right? And the conversation, like let's say you have like 450 conversations, and from the 450 conversations you sent like 46 booking links, and DM bookings are going to be like, let's say 38, and qualified are going to be 26. Make sense? Let's say random data, for example. So if you go over here, you could see the percentages, and these are the main things, by the way, right? So over here you can understand. So when you send, okay, this is a bit too much. Let's say let's take this as 200 something. Let's say 200. That's right. 200. So from the DMs which you sent, right, with these data you can understand, okay, shit, now the DMs which I'm sending, I'm getting a 28% response rate. What does that mean? My message is not that bad, right?
Not that bad.
It's like not that bad, right?
Yeah.
And the next thing which you could look is that the messages which you are sending, like there could be more things, like for example, the messages which you sent to conversations, to like maybe let's say for example conversations which you had, to the booking links which you sent. You could track all these data, right? But it's not that important, but you could still track it to understand like, what is the drop off. The next thing which you can see is that, like let's say for example, you send the booking link, but how many of these people actually booked in? This one is pretty solid. 80% of the people booked in. But yeah, that's solid. Like let's say for example, 46 people are get like sent out, and then only like let's say 30 people gets booked in, right? What does that mean? So that means around 65% of the people who got the link sent booked in, right? But what does that mean? Like other 35% which got sent the same link, they didn't book in.
They did not book in.
You should follow up with all these people and get them booked in. Essentially meaning, if you don't follow up, you're missing out on 30% of the revenue which you could have made, which you don't follow up, right? Which means you make less commissions, 35% less commissions, which you could make. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. The follow-up is in the money, so you just have to follow up.
Exactly, right? And there's another thing, like let's say for example DMs, and how many DMs did you send to like bookings, right? That's one thing. And the qualified booking, like how many DMs you send to like qualified booking rates. So you could maybe say something like this. So you take the bookings, and then the formula is pretty simple. I'm pretty sure you're decent with math, right? Yeah. So if you divide this thing by this thing times 100, you're going to get the percentage, right? Yeah. So this one, the qualified rate is like pretty high. Like let's say for example you're booking in 30, but you're booking in only 10 people who are actually qualified. The setter, like the business would think like it's a closer problem. It's not. It's your problem because you're booking in shit prospects, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you understand. This is literally the principles when it comes to data tracking, and I swear there's nothing more important than this. Like these three data tracking things which I mentioned. Number one, the pipeline. Number two, the messages, the responses, like split testing of messages. And number three, all these data which I showed. It is the responsibility of a sales manager to track it. But if you are a setter who want to provide more value, you could just go to the sales manager and be like, yo, I know it's your job to do it, but fuck that, I'm going to do my shit myself, so you don't have to do it.
It makes sense, because if you do that, you stand out and you be the best, and like AI can't replace you, essentially.
Yeah, fuck AI, right? No one can replace you, right? People want people to work with people, right? That's not going to change, right? You just got to make sure that you are actually putting in the most of the effort. Like, I'm pretty sure that you're not tracking any of this shit for your...
No, I'm not.
You know,
currently not. Yeah, I'm not tracking.
You don't, right? And like, you're making 2K a month without doing it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you start tracking it and doing that stuff, you're going to make 4K a month just with your current job, with your commissions. I'm positive, right?
Absolutely.
You want to make it. Like, as in with your current job,
All right, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, drop me a follow or like just subscribe to the channel. I know this is YouTube, so subscribe to my channel. And if you are a business owner who watched this till the end, or you know a business owner who might need my help when it comes to setting, closing, increasing the sales revenue, getting more leads, like whatever the problem is, I can solve problem because I'm a professional problem solver for making businesses more revenue, right? So if you have any problem like that, if you're a business owner, if you're a salesperson whose business which you're working on has problems like this, either hit me up on IG at salespimp or SALESPIMP. That's my username, pretty unique, I know. Or what you could do is just go through my description and it should have a link to book a meeting with me. Let's talk and see how we can solve your problems. So, yeah, take care.